So in this video for our art craft class, we are going to experiment with pastel colors. And I'm going to show you how simple it is to create your own mural of the Northern Lights. Yours is not going to look like this. I want you to use your own creativity and your own choices of colors and placement and design. But if you just follow the simple technique that I'm going to show you, you will have a beautiful mural that resembles the Northern Lights. So to create an aurora borealis or Northern Light mural, all you need is a piece of black construction paper, white scrapbook paper or copy paper or some type of white paper, and then soft pastel chalks. I'm sure you can probably use sidewalk chalk, but today we're using the pastel chalks from the fine art department. I got mine at Michael's, if you're wondering. So let's get started. So we're going to take our black piece of paper, and this is going to be our canvas. And then we're going to take our white paper and lengthwise, so the longest side, we are just going to start ripping in a jagged direction. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Every single one is going to be different. So that's what's so great about this art project, that even if you follow my directions, it's going to look completely different than what yours will. So I'm just kind of ripping it so it looks like a mountain range. Okay, and I'm going to just bring it right to the top. Okay, so the top white peaks, I'm meeting them with the most top. I'm meeting it with the top of the black. So one thing to remember is, because we're using black paper, the chalk colors that you use, make sure they are the brightest and most fluorescent. So the brightest yellows, the brightest pinks and reds, the most brightest green colors. The brighter the color, the better it will show up on this dark black, okay? So now we're just gonna pick a color, and what you're gonna do, you're just going to draw right on, trying to hold down that white piece of paper as best as you can, and really layer the chalk onto your white piece of paper. See all those particles that are the excess chalk that's gathering, because I'm really just layering it on. And it really works great if you kind of angle the chalk and kind of press really hard as you draw it on the white. And as you can see, I'm not doing the full edging. I'm skipping areas, because with the Northern Lights, they are all different colors. So I'm just gonna do kind of like a bright purple and add some purple in some areas. So the Northern Lights is something that I would love to see in person. They can be seen mostly in the most northern part of the world. So like Alaska, like the Norway. So if you're ever in Alaska or Canada, or even travel to Norway, during the winter time, you might be able to see the Northern Lights. It's such a phenomenon. So I'm just gonna pick a few colors for this row, because we're gonna do it a few more times. So you pick the colors that you want and where you place them. because like I said, this part doesn't matter. So once that whole layer or edging of the white piece of paper is covered like this, you're gonna take your finger and you're just going to push all those particles, all that excess on the white piece of paper onto the black as best as you can, okay? I found the first time I did this that blowing really doesn't do it justice, because what we want to do is want to make those colors blend and almost like sun rays, but with color. Okay, so once you have that, make sure you have a towel or a paper towel or something to wipe your fingers off if you need to. Okay, and then just lift the white piece of paper and see what you've created. So this is my first layer. Look how beautiful those colors have blended together, just like the northern lights peeking over that mountain range. Okay, so we're gonna just do this a few times, and you can do it all the way to the bottom. So this is your chance to, in a way, design your own northern light scene. So you can do this all the way to the bottom and just make layers and layers. You can do it halfway and then do a different type of scene using the chalk toward the bottom. So just think about it as you go. I'm gonna actually choose different colors this time for the second layer, and you could do the same colors or different. And it's okay to kind of do it on top, a different color on top of the colors already there, because again, we are putting the chalk onto the white piece of paper so that there's enough particles, loose particles of the chalk. So I'm gonna actually bring orange into the picture now, and I'm gonna actually do orange right here. And maybe right here. I'm actually gonna do just maybe 2 colors on this one and see how the difference. So orange. So I'm gonna I've decided to do a little bit longer or more areas with one color. Again, holding that white piece of paper as best as you can. And just creating as much loose chalk onto the white piece of paper as you can. And then maybe I'll do a bright, like reddish red. You never know what it's gonna turn out until you lift that white piece of paper up, which is the best part, I think. Because of Northern Lights, my parents were able to see the Northern Lights in person, and each picture that they took in the same night that they saw them, the sky looked so different, but so beautiful. So one tip, once you get as much of that heavy layer of chalk on there. So when you use your finger to push it onto that black, your black canvas, don't always go straight up. Go in different directions, okay? And I'm gonna show you. So change the direction that you push the excess particles. Rotate your finger so that it goes in all different directions. Okay, so I've done that. And look at that. So it's completely different because I use different colors, and I push the chalk onto the black in different directions. So I'm gonna actually, I'm actually gonna take, I want the range to be a little bit different than the two levels. So I'm just gonna take the opposite side of my paper and rip it again. And you know what? It's gonna be completely different range. It will look like a completely different mountain range because I started again. And I'm gonna actually come down a bit further onto the page and just see what it looks like. So with this one, I'm gonna do as many colors as possible. So I'm gonna take the blue. So I'm gonna actually use smaller areas for each color, so it really has a rainbow effect. So as you can see, I'm starting to add different colors. I just did purple and orange. Really putting a thick layer of chalk down so that there's loose particles of the chalk. And I'm just alternating the colors. Onto the white piece of paper. So get your finger out and just smear those colors onto your black piece of paper. Okay. And then just blow off whatever excess there is. And now look. Look at that rainbow effect, how beautiful it is. So I'm gonna do one more layer to show you. And I'm actually going to use the side of the shorter side of the white piece of paper. Because what I want to do is I actually want to, let's see, what do I want to do? I actually might want to crisscross these. I'm just experimenting here. Maybe I'll first just do one layer. And this one, I'm actually gonna use white this time because I kind of want a snowy mountain range look. So this is gonna be kind of hard just because you can't really see the white chalk. So you just have to kind of trust that there's enough. So just look for those particles on the, and once you see a lot of particles, then you know. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of blue. Just a little bit of blue throughout. And I'm just gonna see what that looks like. And then I'm just gonna hold it down and so there's a, and then I'm just gonna finish it. I'm just gonna bring it up here and do the same thing. Taking that white and bringing it till I see lots of particles on the paper. And then adding a little bit of the blue here and there. And then pushing it onto the black. And then, so now I have a nice snowy caps. The peaks have snowy caps on them. So to finish off the bottom here, because it looks so bare compared to this, I'm just going to create take a brown, like a deep reddish brown chalk, like this right here, and kind of lightly draw a path, just like that. And just kind of coloring it in as if you're climbing the mountain. And again, I like I'm just kind of smearing it so it's kind of not as sharp looking. And then I'm going to take a different brown and maybe, let's see what else. Well, actually I'm going to take the white again and maybe at the edge of maybe make almost like a pond. An icy pond. So again, you create your own scene. And I'm actually going to take the blue and kind of define this so it has kind of a watery, define that it's water and not just a snow pile. Okay, so that's what I have so far. And now I'm just going to add a few trees along the path and around the pond area. Around to the side, and I'm just going to start right at the edge of those trunks that I made, and as I get to the top they get smaller into a point, just like pines and evergreens that we see up in the mountains. I might add a little bit darker green just for definition to my tree. And maybe a little bit of snow since it is winter time. So I'm just going over my lightest green just for some contrast. So again, you decide what type of scene you want to create. So that's what I have so far. Again, I might add a little bit of white tips to my trees. So that is my final Northern Light mural. I hope you enjoyed creating your own landscape of the Northern Lights. Thank you for joining me for our craft session today. I hope you enjoyed and you created a beautiful mural of the Northern Lights.